Episode number 35, Stream of Thought. Here we go. We start today's episode by talking about my experience yesterday when I just started feeling really, really sick, and I didn't know why.
I feel like there needs to be a disclaimer, but it's quite a graphic conversation that is well worth the listen because I'm sure that it can relate to a lot of experiences, as well as visiting the dentist, which is another one of those terrifying experiences if you are not on top of your tooth care, which, you know, Victor's one of those 1 in a million who actually takes care of his teeth.
Brushing your teeth 2 or 3 times a day with a regular toothbrush, or only brushing your teeth once a day with an electric toothbrush?
And then we meander into the conversation about drugs and...
No, we don't really talk about drugs. We just talk about, prescription drugs.
Prescription drugs and corporate interests and all. Well, I don't know.
And insurance and just shady stuff that goes on behind the scenes when people are trying to get you to do shit that's not 100% necessary.
In fact, and by the way, buy an electric toothbrush. It's totally worth it. I think I've convinced Victor to give it a shot.
Episode 35, Stream of Thought. We hope you enjoy. So do you remember how you were mentioning one time, you were like, you can ask me, do you ever feel sick after certain foods that you eat? And my answer was no.
Yeah, the fast food conversation.
Right.
Is there one that makes
you
feel nauseous?
There's nothing that makes me nauseous like each time I eat it or anything, but I may or may not have had slight food poisoning yesterday. I don't recall. I'm trying to put my finger on it, and I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
God.
So yesterday I slept fine, got out of bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, went about my day and everything, and I didn't have to work or anything. And I go to Second City, and I'm at Second City, and while I have my first class between the hours of 4 and 7, I'm just getting like tired. I start to get like a mild headache. I'm a little bit hungry, but not enough to take me down a notch. Like, okay, I got the stuff going on, but I can still function at 100% right now. And I made some food with me, just like some noodles and add some tuna real quick because I have another class after that. And I go to my other class. I have to drive to my instructor's house because we're doing something at his house with a green screen, and we're all meeting there. And I get there around 7:30. And near the end of class, my first class, I'm like, this sucks. I have a headache. I feel like I have a mild fever, and my throat feels dry. No, I wasn't burning up, but I felt warm. I felt warm when I was touching my forehead and throat.
Really?
So, which is why I don't think it was food poisoning, because food poisoning usually is like you just feel sick to your stomach.
Yeah, there's normally those additive effects.
So I get there, and I just feel like crap. I just want to do the recording. We're recording our bios. Like, hey, I'm Victor Marquez. I'm from Glen Ellen, Illinois, whatever. The quick 1-minute bio for the website.
Okay.
And I feel like crap. And I finally leave at about maybe 8, quarter after 8. And I'm driving home in just agony. And it's been worse. Like, I've driven home.
Where's the agony? Is it a piercing pain?
It's just in my... I just have a throbbing headache. I'm having to, like, at stoplights... I have my head back and off to the side and keeping an eye on the stoplight every so often to make sure when it's time to go. Like, I'm just, like, giving myself a rest when I can. And I'm driving with one hand, and I'm just, like, pushing into my temple and pushing my fingers in a circular motion to try and just, like, massage my head.
You don't carry a leave or Advil.
No, I don't do that
Like
shit.
that.
No, I don't do that.
All right, go on.
And if someone had some, I would have taken it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't do that crap. That's a story. That's another story altogether. Anyway, I'm driving home. I'm just like, also on my way home when I'm driving, I'm just coughing. It feels like I don't feel like I need to throw up, but all signs are pointing to like my body wants to throw up. I don't feel sick enough to throw up, but I'm like doing that thing where I'm like coughing.
So it's like the sick dog cough. Like,
and it's like it's like it's not just like I'm coughing. It's like really coming from the stomach and like diaphragm, just like like almost like heaving almost, right? I feel okay. I just have a headache and it sucks. And I'm driving and I get on 290 and I'm driving. And everything just sucks. I just want to get home. It's like and the worst thing too is I have work at 6:00 this morning, right? So I'm just like, fuck me right now. I'm happy because I did the recording and I got out at 8:15. I'm like, if I can get in bed by 9, I know all of this will my body will take care of it and I'll wake up feeling fine. So I'm driving home as I transfer from like 290 from 88 to Roosevelt Road. I get onto Roosevelt Road. It's like highway-ish kind of, and it goes into the regular Roosevelt Road. And I start to feel like I need to throw up. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, all of a sudden it hits me. My saliva gets really, really thin. I'm doing the breathing, the swallowing, even though there's nothing to swallow. Like, I'm doing...
call that the 5-second warning.
Yeah, the 5-second... I am doing everything, all the defense mechanisms to prevent myself from throwing up. And I'm on the highway. I can't, I could pull over, but it's a bitch to get back up to 60 because I have a 4-cylinder Toyota Corolla, you know what I'm saying? And I think to myself, if I could just make it to where civilization is, when it becomes Roosevelt Road, I can easily pull over and throw up. I'm
side
cool.
road and
it passes. So I'm cool.
Oh,
it passes.
Yeah.
And remember, the last time we had this conversation, when that happens, you've got about a 20 to 30 minute safe zone before that feeling comes back, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm cool. I just have a headache. I get home, right? I get home and it's about 8:45. I'm like, perfect. I can just kind of use this time to just wind down and get in bed. And I'm at home and I need to throw up again. And I'm like, fuck, right? I'm like, crap. And it happens again. However, this time I'm at my house. So I'm like, I'm totally cool to throw up if my body wants to throw up, right? I open the toilet. I'm just standing there. I'm ready. I'm waiting for it. I'm not like dry heaving or anything. I'm just like, I feel really sick. Like I'm about to throw up. I'm just kind of like, come on, let's do this. Let's get this over with. I want to go to bed, right?
Feels so much better.
It's funny because moments before I had just taken a crap and now like I've got my head like a foot above the toilet.
You got those fecal coliforms.
No. Here, I'll say this. For whatever reason, it was a quick crap. It was a non-smelly crap. So I'm standing there over the toilet. I don't smell anything. So I'm like, all right, this is a minor win. I don't smell anything, right? Quick, odorless crap. I don't know how it happened. But
it doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
I know,
There's so many fecal coliforms.
I'm thinking how funny it is. Like just a minute I flushed the toilet and now here I am again.
That's so gross.
But get this, right?
God.
I throw up, right?
Yeah.
It's not liquid though, because I had eaten a couple hours before that. I had eaten noodles and tuna, so I throw up these just 2 or 3 mass chunks that when it comes out of my throat, it feels like it's a paste, right? Here's what I'm getting at. I'm sitting there throwing up. It goes in the toilet, and because it's dense, water splashes up and hits me in the face.
You're so fucking disgusting.
We
really built up.
Water splashes up and hits me in the face.
This whole story to end up coming
and I'm like, crap.
Tuna water hitting you in the face.
I'm like, whatever.
Coliforms everywhere.
No.
That is one of the grossest things.
Listen. Oh, really?
I've heard.
Grosser than dropping your phone in the...
Hey, we're good.
So I think this is kind of funny.
Okay.
I throw up. It's over. I just throw up one time, and it's one and done, and I'm good to go. I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I hop in bed, and it's 9:00, and I'm just so happy.
By the way, was your toothbrush just hanging out by the toilet while you?
No, it's in the closet. Okay. I keep it in the closet.
All right, cool.
And I get in bed, and what's nice is on the way, I was debating on the way back. I was like, do I need to call work right now because there's people still there and tell them I can't come in? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy, and I'm pretty sure I'll feel good tomorrow. I'm in bed at 9, right? I go to bed feeling really shitty and sick, headache. mild fever. I just threw up. Long ass day, and I've been waiting for bed for hours. And I go to bed 9 o'clock. I wake up the next morning at about 5. Feel great. I feel so well rested, refreshed. I am ready to conquer the day. And I'm just like, wow, this is really amazing. I cannot remember the last time that I woke up so early, just like, I wake up and I'm just immediately out of bed. Because usually what happens is like, I'm awake, it's dark out though, I'm kind of tired, I think I'll just go back to sleep. I was wide awake, hop out of bed, ready to start the day, go to work today feeling totally normal. I'm just like, wow.
Damn.
Wow.
That is quite the adventure. I feel like that's a roller coaster of emotion right there.
Well, I've noticed sometimes what's happened before too is once or twice I've thrown up as a result of nothing could be explained other than just like exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know, like I've just had long days in a row. There's no reason for me to feel sick other than just being
your
exhausted,
and
my body is just like
rejecting the fact that you're living the way that you are right now. Yeah, man, I get horrible motion sickness. I have to say it's kind of embarrassing, but most recently it was not even a year ago. It was less than. But I was this was when Neil and I were heading to WGN to do the interview.
Yeah.
And my mom was driving us in
right.
the morning. And I get motion sickness. But this isn't something that's like... It's pretty infrequent, but it does happen occasionally. And it's one of those things where it creeps up on you, where you're driving. For me, if I'm not looking at the road, and I'm looking down or you know, whatever, not looking at the road, something happens where my stomach's like, I'm not your friend right now.
Oh, you have to look out the window?
I have to be looking like straight ahead.
Oh, okay.
I have to sort of not be in the motion thing.
Okay.
And this is early in the morning, so you know, after 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, I'm fine. Like, okay, no need to worry about me ever. But before then, it's hit or miss. You know, maybe 10% of the time, I will have this, even less than that. I will have this sense of, oh boy, like we're in for a roller coaster ride for the next one. And so this is like an hour and a half ride to try and get from Glen Ellen to the WGN studio.
Because we learned that WGN is not in downtown Chicago like every other network is. It's like way the fuck up north.
Yeah. It's quite inconvenient to try and locate. Especially if you're from where we're from. And so we're driving along, and I feel this like bubble, like, oh boy, like warning sign ahead. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not really listening to it because this hasn't happened in years. And so I'm like, it's okay. Like, whatever. Not worried about it. Continue, like, go back down to my phone. You know, like, checking my phone, whatever. It had to be, like, 2 or 3 minutes later, suddenly it's just like, oh yeah, like the vacuum has, like, started. It's like... Yeah. Like, we're getting ready. And I realized you have maybe 10 seconds to react. And in those 10 seconds, it is extraordinarily valuable that you know your surroundings.
Yeah.
Because...
For sure.
I know it's going to happen. It's that, oh boy, this isn't going back down. This is coming directly out, and it's going to be shared with the world. Yeah. And I look around, and... yeah, there was no bag.
You just threw up in your mom's car?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah.
This was never brought to my attention.
I've never told anyone.
Neil didn't even say anything to me.
No. It's so yeah, here I am. We're close. We're like 20 minutes away at this point in time.
Wow.
And it's just a fountain of youth. It is just the most disgusting. Like,
was it all liquid or were there chunks?
It was liquid. I mean, I didn't have anything in my stomach. Yeah. It was like dry heaving kind of thing, but trying to like stifle it in my throat. It was just like all over the place, all over my pants, and here I'm going into WGN. Right. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be on camera or like whatever the case is. Right. And here, like, I'm spewing like just liquid everywhere.
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 Gosh.
And luckily we were by a grocery store, my mom, and pulling off to the side is just grabbing some paper towels, some cleaner and stuff like that. But it's so humiliating. It's like I know how old people feel when they like diarrhea themselves.
Yeah, right.
You know, like without control, because you just don't have control in that situation, and it feels so helpless because it's like,
fuck,
this is gonna happen if you don't have a safe place for it to go. Like, it's just gonna be humiliating for everyone, and you're never gonna live it down.
I would be humiliated if I shit my pants in public. If I threw up, I'd just be like, fuck it. I don't care.
Dude, you've thrown up in the
I know.
the streets of New York City.
I know.
Like, you have no shame when it comes to that.
I remember the summer after freshman year of college, I was at Perry's house when her mom lived right around the corner from us, and I'm at a party there, and I'm just like drinking my face off. And the next day, my family and we went to somebody's party that summer, like in the afternoon, some barbecue with kids running around and shit like that. And I was so hungover. I was so hungover. And I go to this party, and all I do is I just lie in the hammock. I just lie in the hammock in complete agony. I don't interact with anybody. I don't even think there was anybody really my age at the time there, too. And I remember, like, I went in the bathroom. I can't remember if I threw up at this person's house or not in the bathroom, but I do remember going to the bathroom, and they had, like, a tile floor that was very cool. And I remember lying down on the floor.
Who hasn't had that experience?
Letting, like, the coolness of the of these big, huge-ass tiles just, like, cool my neck and chest and arms. I'm just like, oh, this feels so good. I get up, I go back in the hammock, and I just feel like shit. And we get in the van to go back home, and this is literally like a 2-minute drive from my house. And we get back, we pull it back into our driveway. I'm in the back seat, right? My brother and sister in the middle, my parents up front. And as we're getting out, I throw up, but I throw up just enough that I can keep it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like gopher cheeks.
Oh my God.
And no one's looking at me. So
yeah.
And about 5 seconds go by between the time that I completed throwing up and I'm holding it in my mouth to the time that I step out the van and no one's looking, and I'm just like bleh, and just spit it all out. And it was, I couldn't believe that I didn't get it all over myself, that it wasn't like enough for me to just throw up all over the place. It was the perfect moment. It came up. I held it in my mouth. 5 seconds later, bleh, and just spit it all out in the lawn. No one saw me.
Who has had those experiences?
It was so great.
Though? I mean, dude, yeah. Like, I feel as though that's a pretty universally shared experience for
I'm
those of our age.
Amongst my friends from college, I'm notorious for people having to pull over so I can throw up on the highway.
Yeah, you do. I have to say, you are my most vomit-prone friend. Yeah. Oh, that is so funny. Yeah. But, so, going back to what you had started with originally, was it food? Is it food? You said it was possibly food poisoning.
That's what I thought, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was.
Okay.
I thought it was that possibly
the mysteries of nature, perhaps.
I think it was just. I just think it was. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
Dude, man, everyone has been feeling the weird weather shifts.
But when that happens to me, I'm sick for like 4 days, and it's nothing that some NyQuil can't handle. It's just like congestion and like it's nothing serious. It's nothing where I'm like. The last time I remember feeling like really ill was like a few years ago, and I like had a fever, and that's like the most sick I've ever been.
Okay.
In recent years.
Okay.
Other than being hungover.
So tell me about this dentist thing.
Oh, right. So I go to the dentist today, and I get there, and it's it's funny. It's right over here, right behind us. Okay. We pass it when we pull in the little drive. And when they call my name, I look up. The first thing I think is like, oh, nice. She's super attractive. And we go into this back room, all the way down the hallway, and I'm lying there, and we're talking, and I go back, and it's the whole, open, close, put your tongue to the left, right, whatever. and in the beginning she's got gloves on, obviously, and she's got her fingers in my mouth, right? Of course. And then I kind of tilt my head. I'm like, wait, what's happening right now? Because then what she does is her hands are behind my head, and she puts them on like my throat and underneath my jaw and like presses a few times, going like this, just like checking for lumps and bumps or whatever. I'm like, this is something new. I remember them doing this last time. I guess they didn't do this when I was a kid. But I was like, I know it's my mouth, but now like my saliva is on my throat and a little bit under my jaw.
Oh, she moved directly from your mouth.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. This is. I mean, it's not like her fingers were covered in saliva. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's weird. Like, that it would be like.
Listen, you couldn't do this first prior to sticking your fingers in my mouth. But whatever, you're hot, so I'll let it slide. And she's like, here, you can change the channel if you want because there's TV and everything. And I'm watching like Ellen for like 5 minutes, and then I'm watching MSNBC for like 10 minutes, and then I change it. I see Walking Dead is on AMC, and we start talking about Walking Dead and everything. And it's funny because she's like, do you watch Walking Dead regularly? I'm like, yes, I do. And boom, that's as much as I can say before the instruments go back in my mouth. And it's like, and then she starts talking about Walking Dead, and it's funny it was just really interesting to try and carry a conversation with somebody about this program that you can both relate to, but I'm limited as to when instruments or fingers are in my mouth or not. So it's almost like if I want to get something out, it's like gasping for air when you're underwater, like, you know, and this is what I thought about last season, and then I go back under.
Exactly.
It was just a weird experience. And then I noticed too, you know how they like polish your teeth with like mint or whatever the hell it is, and when you're a kid they ask if you want bubble gum, and I'm like, I would totally be down for bubble gum still. But then I thought to myself, like, wouldn't it be awesome if they had like margarita flavor or like flavors for adults or something, or like even like a chocolate flavor or something like that, or something fun other than mint? Because when you after the dentist, you feel like your teeth are in such pristine condition that you are obligated not to consume anything for the next 100 years. Like, it's just like everything feels just so clean and fresh that you don't want to eat or drink anything other than just water.
Absolutely.
You know?
So that idea of having something to savor for however long until you eat next.
It's funny because today, because all the other times I've gone to the dentist, I try and see how long I can go without eating, you know, several hours later until dinner. Today I go home just like munching on some like pulled pork or something like that. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, forgot. I went to the dentist today. Whatever. You gotta eat sometime.
I know, man. We're to that age right now where it doesn't really matter. I mean, you know what? If we take care of our health, our teeth, we're, you know, it is what it is, right?
And I was never afraid of the dentist, but it's relaxing to just sit there and let someone just do their thing, you know, like
you can say that if you don't have any cavities or fear of any cavities. I'm assuming your teeth are in pretty good condition.
I think I only have one cavity, and that was when I was like 9.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You brush twice a day?
Maybe 2.
Floss
maybe
once?
2. I don't floss a whole lot. I brush my teeth at least minimum twice a day, maybe 3 times. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
It's just like, obviously, I do it in the morning, before bed, and sometimes in the middle of the day if I just feel like cleaning up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. I do once a day.
What?
Yeah.
When?
But I floss as well.
When do you brush your teeth?
It tends to be on a 24-hour cycle. Relatively,
but when? In the morning, at night?
Whenever my teeth start to feel the least bit grimy.
Dude, I brush them at least twice.
I have an electric toothbrush too, so they get super clean. They feel dentist clean afterwards. It's great. Every single brush that I have, they are just shiny. Like they feel fine. Like, they still get stained and stuff like that because I don't have the tools necessary to be able to, like, unstain some of the things. But in regards to getting the plaque off and things like that, oh, man. It is
really?
It is better.
It's a game changer?
It is a game changer because I've tried using a regular hand brush before, and it irritates my cheeks, and it doesn't feel clean afterwards.
Really?
That is the biggest thing, is, like, it doesn't feel clean. But when you have this brush that's moving, back and forth at 4 or 5 times per second.
I was about to say like 200 miles an hour or something like that.
No, not anything great. It is moving as fast as a race car going back and forth. But it's going back and forth in your mouth so fast that it's literally just shaking off any plaque that's on your teeth, and your teeth feel smooth.
I'll give it a whirl.
Like, you really should try to do an electric
because I always thought the electric toothbrush thing was kind of like, I just kind of thought I thought it was like a fad type thing. Like, I got an electric toothbrush. Hey, like, whatever. Fuck it. I'm just gonna use my regular toothbrush. I'm cool.
Well, because I'd always used a normal regular toothbrush up until halfway through college, but then I got it as a gift. My first electric toothbrush.
That's the other thing. I'm not dropping like $150, $200 on a fucking toothbrush.
Hell no. I got one for my wedding, and that was a pretty expensive one. But aside from that, they're like $30 to $50 at the most. I think I typically, my sister has gotten them for free when couponing.
Okay.
Basically, through coupons, she's gotten durable, long lasting, quality, like things that I would totally use for free, and very reliable, and they brush your teeth fast enough to get that plaque off that you would never be able to do by brushing it with a manual brush. And that, for me, is the real difference, is that I can't brush my teeth fast enough to get the like little shit off. Like, there's always like flakes and stuff like that afterwards, or like it doesn't feel totally like smooth, like dentist clean smooth. You leave the dentist, it's like like you could rub your tongue across your teeth and it's just like silk, right?
Yeah.
It feels like that every time after you brush with an electric toothbrush, for me anyway. It's
interesting.
It's really cool. And so my attitude is, whenever my teeth even feel the slightest bit grimiest anywhere in my mouth, I'll brush my teeth. And so typically it's less than 24 hours. It'll tend to be like 20-hour rotation or whatever. But it cleans it so well. I floss my teeth, use mouthwash, like all that. My mouth is super clean. And I don't know. I mean, I should brush it more often.
I should
totally. I don't disagree, but in regards to comparatively other people, like, I'm happy with my dental hygiene, because there are so many people who are worse than me.
Who
still have all their teeth.
I'm just really happy too that I have all my teeth where they're supposed to be. I had braces, but even before that, my teeth were fine. I was like I don't know why I had it.
I still have my wisdom teeth in.
I do too.
You do?
These motherfuckers have.
Are you serious?
So get this. So
really,
I used to go to the dentist over at Pickwick Plaza by where Walgreens used to be before it became Binny's, right up by Main Street.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers keep hassling me like, you gotta go see the whatever. You gotta go see the motherfucker that checks out wisdom teeth. You know, you gotta go see the motherfucker that checks out wisdom teeth. You gotta go see the motherfucker that checks out wisdom teeth. Like, why? So you can get some kickback after they do, thousands of dollars worth of surgery? Dumbasses. I'm not a fool. And so after several years, I'm like, you fuckers, I'm not going here anymore, because they're just always trying to sell you on something, those guys there. That's been my experience.
You're not talking about Family Dental, are you?
I don't know, whatever the dentist place is next to the cleaners.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where you go?
Where I went a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the place.
Ago.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, that place. Great. Whatever.
I mean, they kind of fucked up my tooth when they repaired it. But
really?
I mean, like, it was a filling, but it was one of those, like, cement like those weird. You've never had cavities, so you don't know. But there's like the typical metallic fillings.
I brush my teeth twice a day.
There's the typical metallic fillings, and then there's
like a cap.
And then, no, it's just a filling.
Okay.
It's like a metallic filling, and then there's like the artificial bone filling.
Yes.
And that's the one they used on me. Unfortunately, when they were putting it on, they made it super like pointy. So for the past 5 years, this has been one of those things that just grinds my gears.
Yeah.
And I had a thing in the inside of my mouth. It's like a razor blade.
No fucking way. Let me see. Which tooth is it? That tooth right there? Oh my gosh. Is it for you, is it like the front left part of the tooth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks real pointy.
Right. Yeah, I can't rub my tooth across it or it'll cut it.
Wow.
And I've had to live with that for...
It's funny because one time when I was a freshman in college, I was eating at the dining courts. I was eating bread. I don't know how. Somehow, I chipped my tooth my canine. And after that, it felt really sharp, and then the enamel went over and it felt totally fine. But if you look on this canine, it's pointy, right? On the top. On here, you see that? It's not. There's a tiny little, there's a tiny little chip. And it happened when I was eating bread, and I was like, what the fuck? How did this happen? I was like, whatever.
Wow, so totally just like remove the tip of your tooth.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, so like
it's not like it wasn't like my tooth hit my other tooth when I was eating. It's just like I don't know what happened.
Yeah, something happened, but that crazy stuff.
But going after these ass clowns that tried to upsell me on shit that I didn't need.
Okay.
I stopped going there, and my mom felt like the same way. I started going to this Grove Dental here in Lombard, which is like it's like a comfortable office. They got a fish tank and everything. It's like a darker atmosphere. It's just like nicer. I have been to the dentist when I was working downtown. I went to the dentist office one time in like the Hancock building because my office was there too, and so I just went up like several flights of stairs to go to the dentist. It was like, this is pretty nice. Got a window looking out at the lake. I'm at the dentist right now. Feel high end right now. Anyway, yeah, my dad knows somebody who was a dentist for like 30 or 35 years or something like that, and they were talking on the phone, and I think my dad sent her copies of like my x-rays, my brother, my sister, and like him, like just like, hey, do these, like, what's your opinion on this, because they're saying like our teeth need to get pulled or like or something, just doing some detective work. And they're like, yeah, you could, but it's not a pressing issue. Like, you don't need to get it done unless you have pain. It might be more of a procedure, but sometimes they just never come up. And then they just had it. Then she pretty much told my dad, like, all the malpractice that goes on in terms of just making money off of insurance and recommending procedures that are not 100% necessary.
Like getting rid of the wisdom teeth.
If that's one example, yes. And so this was in 2009 that this first happened, or 2008. And this has been almost 10 years, and I have never had any pain ever from my wisdom teeth. And my belief is that they're just not going to ever come in. And they're just like, oh, well, if it does, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. Well, I'll deal with it if and when it happens.
Well, you want to hear because my wisdom teeth are in. And they came in straight.
Oh.
They came in perfectly straight. They came in. And
yeah, mine are just in the gums still. Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're in, but they're covering. It's like 10% that's covering the gum or whatever. Like it's overlapping the gum.
Let me see. Open up. Oh yeah,
they're
right.
in. They're in.
Yeah,
they're in. They're in straight, right?
Yeah.
But they are overlapping the gum a little bit, and so even though they came in right and they came in straight. The dentist was like, so they came in straight, but it'll likely push your teeth together so that your teeth end up like smooshing together anyway and misalign. And when you brush, it's really hard to get back there, and so you'll likely get cavities. So we would say it's necessary and essential for you to get your wisdom teeth out.
What a dumb fuck.
And it's like and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, you know what my response to that is? Every time I brush now, I make sure I get really far back in there.
Thanks for the heads up. I'll make sure I brush those teeth.
Like, I always just get back in there, like, because I think you had a point. Like, totally, I could see bacteria getting really far back into the back of your mouth, and if it's overlapping the gum at all, like, totally stuff could get in there. So I just brush it really hard.
Yeah.
Make sure I always floss back there. Like, never have a problem.
And they say you're supposed to go to the dentist every 6 months. I go because, well, I just have insurance pay for it. It's free to me. Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's a problem, if I go every 6 months, or even if you go once a year, I'm pretty sure like that problem's not going to become out of control. If something if something did need to be done.
And we're at the age too where if you maintain good health, like you could have like mediocre teeth like myself right now, but if you have good dental hygiene or mediocre dental hygiene like myself, you can prevent future shit from going down and starting to get those pains in your teeth or any, a lot of things.
Cavity and bacteria related, but as far as bone structure and growth, that's kind of just genetics or whatever happens. But what I'm saying is like if the wisdom teeth thing were to happen, like if they were to push your teeth forward, I mean, brushing your teeth 3 times a day is not going to prevent that, right?
Totally.
It's just,
yeah.
But if you go to the dentist regularly, even if it's once a year, you will be able to see, like, get to the point where it's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
no, I mean,
it's
like
it's not going to be
some
some crazy thing that's impossible to work on and thousands of more dollars and 10 times more pain or whatever.
I mean, it's like anything else. You monitor it over a period of time, and if there's a problem that ends up developing, you can catch it early on, and if you know that there's a potential problem, you can be aware of that heading into it, and yeah.
One time, also, I was at the doctor in Chicago, and he gave me a prescription, and I could not believe this. I paid $10 for it. The sticker was still on there, like the retail price of it. It was like over $600. So what the fuck is this little box of like 10 pills? I paid $10, and this thing is almost $700.
Yeah. Welcome to America. It was really interesting that you mentioned that because I watched a video that Vox put out today, I actually think. And it was about how with prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs, it's always more than, like, the dosage is always higher than an average person would need. So, like, they took eye drops as an example. Part of the reason why when people squirt eye drops in their eyes and like shit runs out is because it's more more liquid than the eye can contain. If they reduced the size amount by 35%, there would be no running down your eye.
Right.
You wouldn't need to blink or anything like that. Like it would go in your eye and that would be it.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, oh, I got all this shit in my eye, like kind of.
I've become a pro at eye drops.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
Boom, boom, one, done.
Super light, right?
Yes.
Like little tap.
Yeah.
And you're in, right? But you have to modify it, right? That is not the way that it was constructed to excrete its liquid. If you do the full drop, it's not that in one, but if you do the full one, it runs out of your eye. And part of it has been this whole excess thing when it comes to the medical culture of more than you need, like to the maximum extent.
Mm-hmm.
And so you
like,
get
do they
results.
do it so that it runs out faster and you buy more?
Mm-hmm.
My theory too is like the shampoo, rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to repeat.
Mm-hmm.
If you repeat even with a fraction of the original amount of shampoo you used, your hair just lathers up like crazy. It is completely unnecessary.
And additionally, too, there have been studies that have shown that you remove some essential chemicals, natural chemicals that your body excretes.
You're not even supposed to shampoo every single day.
You're not. You're only supposed to wash the parts that get sweaty once a day, and everything else can be washed like every other day.
Right.
Like arms and legs and stuff like that. Stuff that gets sweaty once a day. But if you wash more than once a day, then you start removing some of these natural oils that your body excretes. You get skin rashes, you get acne, you get all these different adverse effects because the body, and then you have to buy like lotions and stuff to like compensate for that, when all you have to do is really just cut down on the amount that you like wash this stuff off your body. Because your body takes care of itself, more or less.
Going back real quick to eye drops, did you ever use Rotos? You know what Rotos are?
Dude, I was never a pot smoker. Like, I never needed eye drops.
Rotos were like these higher end eye drops that you can get from Walmart, and there were like 4 different caps. I think it was like there was like a green, a blue, and a green, a blue, and a silver. No, it was
major.
And when you put it in your eye, it gave you like this very,
tingling.
It was a tingle, but it was a cold tingle, and after a while, once you get used to it, it's kind of cool and refreshing. But I remember the first time one of my friends used it, he put it in his eye, he started screaming like a little girl because it feels like at first ice over your eyeball.
Oh my god!
And then the sensation goes away, but it does feel extremely refreshing when you use it.
after you
it's great.
Jump in the frozen lake, it feels so much more refreshing afterwards.
It does feel pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. You gotta come up with a sign off, man.